Did you know that, back in April 2008, two Southeast Asian nations went to war with one another? But they're both generally peaceful Buddhist countries. So why did Thailand and Cambodia fight each other? How many people died during this conflict? And is there any chance of it happening again today? Well, the two countries nearly fought over this jungle temple called Priyavi. It sits atop a mountain ridge, and because of its location, it has been a point of contention between the two countries since at least the 1960s. That's because the temple's exact location along the border between Thailand and Cambodia had never been officially determined. This caused both countries to claim it as their own, which resulted in an uneasy calm along the border for decades. But this would all change when Cambodia formally asked the International Court of Justice to rule in their favor in regards to the temple's ownership. In 2001, the ruling came back in favor of Cambodia in 2002, which was not at all what Thailand was expecting. In fact, Thailand was so outraged by the decision that they wanted to appeal it. However, they couldn't do so until 2007, after the temple was placed on the UNESCO World Heritage List. Now, the Cambodian government saw the removal of the temple from the danger list as a sign of victory and began constructing a road leading up to the temple that would allow tourists and pilgrims to visit more eyes. This was seen as a provocation by the Thai government, and they became even more intent on taking control of the temple. They stationed thousands of troops near the border and even threatened military action against Cambodia. So just a year later, the fighting began. On April 2008, the Royal Thai Army entered into Cambodia and destroyed the road that was being built to the temple. They also claimed that they had captured several hilltops around the temple, but this was disputed by the Cambodian government. In response, the Cambodian army then shelled a Thai military outpost, which killed 3 Thai soldiers and wounded 9 others. This was followed by a large-scale attack by the Thai army who managed to penetrate 3 miles inside of Cambodia. This incursion included tanks, artillery, and helicopters, which caused the Cambodian army to fall back. Over the next few weeks, the Thai army continued to advance inside of Cambodia, which caused them to be heavily criticized by the United Nations, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, and pretty much every country in the world. But despite all this criticism, the Thai army continued to push forward. They even took control of 2 more temples that were inside of Cambodia. As the fighting continued, more and more weapons were used. The Cambodian army began launching rockets into Thai territory, while the Thai army responded by sending in fighter jets. As the situation became increasingly chaotic, more countries sent in peacekeepers to try and stop the fighting, but they were unsuccessful. In fact, fighting would continue all the way until October 2008, and when it was finally over, Thailand had occupied nearly 400 square kilometers of land inside of Cambodia. Despite this, though, the Thai prime minister at the time insisted that his country had no intention of annexing any of Cambodia. Instead, he claimed that they only wanted to protect the temple. Today, the situation has largely calmed down. Thailand withdrew its troops from Cambodia in late 2008, and the two countries have taken steps to improve relations. For example, both countries have made efforts to promote tourism in the region and are working together to improve infrastructure and trade. It is possible that these efforts will continue to improve relations between the two countries and reduce the likelihood of future conflicts. However, it's also possible that the border dispute will continue to cause tension between them. After all, the issue of the temple still has been resolved, and both countries remain determined to assert their claims. The fighting between Thailand and Cambodia may have ended in 2008, but the possibility of future conflicts remains. So what's really going on here? Why do these two seemingly peaceful countries feel the need to go to war over a temple? Well, according to some experts, the fighting is actually more about domestic politics than it is about the temple itself. That's because both countries use the temple as a way to rally nationalist sentiment among the population. By taking a hard stance on the border dispute, both governments can distract their citizens from internal problems and focus their attention on an external enemy. In addition, the border dispute is seen as a way for both countries to assert their sovereignty and independence. Both Thailand and Cambodia were previously under the control of foreign powers, and they are now determined to prevent any other country from dominating them. Ultimately, the fighting between Thailand and Cambodia is a complex issue with a variety of contributing factors. While the immediate cause may be a territorial dispute, the underlying causes are much more complex. So now that we know why the two countries went to war, let's take a look at how this conflict affected the civilians caught in the middle of it. During the fighting, hundreds of thousands of people were forced to flee their homes and become refugees. They were unable to return home due to the ongoing violence, and many of them had to live in makeshift camps for years. In addition, the fighting caused significant damage to the local economy. Businesses were destroyed and agricultural production was disrupted, which led to widespread poverty and hunger. And perhaps most tragically, the fighting resulted in the deaths of dozens of civilians. Many of them were caught in a crossfire as the two militaries battled for control of the area. When all was said and done, it was estimated that over 100 people had lost their lives during the conflict. The majority of these deaths were caused by small arms fire and artillery shelling, but some people were also killed when fighter jets were used. It's important to note that these numbers are just estimates, as the fighting was very chaotic, and it was difficult to keep track of the casualties. It's possible that the true death toll is much higher. This conflict serves as a reminder of the devastating impact that war can have on innocent people. The fighting between Thailand and Cambodia was a tragedy for everyone involved, and it's important that we remember the human cost of war, as well as the financial and material costs. But what about today? Is there any chance of these two countries going to war again? Well, it's certainly possible, but it's also unlikely. The fighting in 2008 was a relatively small-scale conflict that only involved a few hundred troops from each side. It was also a relatively short conflict that lasted for just over 6 months. Since then, the two countries have taken steps to improve relations, and there is no longer a significant military buildup along the border. In addition, both countries are members of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, which promotes cooperation and integration among member states. This membership has helped to reduce tensions between Thailand and Cambodia and has provided a forum for resolving disputes peacefully. However, it's important to remember that the border dispute has never been formally resolved. There is still a risk that it could flare up again in the future and lead to renewed fighting. So to answer the question, is there any chance of Thailand and Cambodia going to war again today? The answer is that it's possible, but it's also unlikely. The fighting in 2008 was a relatively small-scale and short-lived conflict, and since then, the two countries have taken steps to improve relations. However, the border dispute has never been formally resolved, and there is always a risk that it could lead to renewed fighting. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.